Hello friends! This lesson is for preschool and enrichment. So today we're going to be making coffee filter flowers, which if you choose to do so, you can put them in your windows. They look really beautiful through the sunlight that your windows will provide, and are something that you can do to cheer up not only yourselves but your neighbors as well. We've noticed a lot of artwork in the windows of houses in our neighborhood, and every time we see it, it just makes us smile. So Sophia can zoom in on the flowers. They're here on this white piece of paper. And some of the skills that you are going to be practicing for this lesson are color mixing. You will also be cutting, although that gets a little tricky, so parents may have to help out with some of the cutting. And also it's fun to kind of observe the absorption properties of the coffee filters. So supplies that we need, so if we'll come around, we need a container for water, a paintbrush, watercolor paints, and you can see that the watercolor paints that I'm using today are in a tray form, but if you have liquid watercolor paints, those also work wonderfully. And even better is if you have the little eyedroppers with those liquid watercolor paints. But if you only have the tray type and the brush like what I have, that's fine too. Obviously we need the coffee filters. We need wax paper, scissors, pencil, and I'm using a marker, but you really don't need a marker. Okay, oh, and I also have a piece of cardboard that is just taken from, this was from a pie crust mix box, but you could take it from a cereal box, whatever, if you can find a piece of thicker cardboard, because we're going to make a template, all right? So you can hop up, Soph, and I'll start to demonstrate. So with the flower shape, I just took and I drew a pencil shape onto my cardboard. I'll go over it with a marker so you can see it a little more clearly. And I'll also put my hand over it so you can see about the size of it. Basically, you want the shape. I used a 5-petal flower shape because I usually like odd numbers of things I think are more interesting. And it has to fit into your coffee filter. So you can see there's how big my hand is, there's how large my flower shape is. And another way to test this is just to take a coffee filter, and they're very, very thin. Let's see if I have one, or it almost feels like I have two here, but I guess not. And you can place it on top, and if you press real hard, you can actually see the outline of your shape and see if it's going to fit on the filter. This one will easily fit on this filter. It could even be a little bit larger if I wanted it to be. Okay, so once I have my flower shape traced onto my cardboard, I'm just going to cut it out. And this is the part where parents are going to be needed, because cutting on cardboard is quite tricky and a little bit difficult even for adults. So I'm going to actually cut it out. As we've talked about in school, I always try to make the area around as small as possible to make it easier to cut. All right, so here we go. And if you decide you really enjoy this project, you could make several different sizes of flowers, or even different flower shapes to create almost like a garden. All right, so there's my shape. Now I'm going to take a filter and I'm going to place it on the template on top of the filter, and I'm going to trace around it. All right. So this part, preschoolers and kindergartners can do. Usually go a little bit more slowly than I'm going, and if you go up onto the template the way I just did, again, no problem. It's all right. Sometimes we get pencil lines on our templates. All right, let's see. Okay, that came out fine. All right, now parents, this again is where you can come into play to help with this particular lesson. You can take several filters and put them on top and cut. So you end up cutting not just one filter at a time, but quite a few. And let's see, how many do I have here? Let's see, one, ooh, that may be too many. That might be a little too thick. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna try 4 and see if I can manage that. All right, so I've got 4 here. And once again, if they're not cut perfectly, doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get a shape here. And I'm trying to keep my paper together without moving it completely. All right, let's get rid of some of that. There we go. Make it a little easier. Coming around here. And I'm just realizing another technique we could use to make this a little easier would be if we took a paper clip or something and clipped the paper together. It would make it a little simpler than just trying to hold it with a finger. All right, so there we go. And you can see I haven't been too exact. All right, put our scraps away. All right, so we should have 4 cutout shapes, and I am placing my shapes onto a piece of wax paper, okay? The reason for that is if you just do this project right on newspaper, the liquid will just soak right through your newspaper and you could end up with some color marks on whatever surface you're working on, your kitchen table or whatever, your desk. All right, so now we have 4 flower shapes. I'm going to take my watercolor paints, move a few things out of the way here, and my water down here where I can reach them a little more easily. And this is when the fun begins. All right, so let's see, what color do I want to start with today? I think I'm going to start with yellow. Oh, actually, that's not very yellow. Let's go for more yellow. Here we go. And remember, when you're painting with watercolor, you need a lot of water. And I swish, swish, swish my paintbrush in the palette and really get a lot of paint on my brush. All right, I'm gonna just add some yellow on here. A little chunk of yellow came out there. That's all right. All right, so I got some yellow. I'm gonna put a little more water. And the more saturated the color, I think the better they look. So I'm putting a lot of paint on here. All right, I'm going to try adding some red to that and see what happens. Let's see. Let's just put a little red around here. My friends, what do we see happening here? We've done this before, where we've mixed 2 primary colors. Remember, the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And right now we're mixing red and yellow. And let's see what we end up getting. All right. Ooh. Okay, so I see just some red. I see some yellow. And when the red and the yellow mix, what color are we getting? Sophia, what color are we getting?
Orange.
Well, it looks like we have some orange here. Ooh, look at how pretty that is. I'm gonna try to flatten that out a little bit. Okay, I like the colors in that.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I think I'll put a little more. Again, the darker the colors are on here, when it dries, the colors lighten up a bit. So if you want it to be really brilliant, you may have to go back and add a little bit more paint to really get a saturated color. All right, a little more yellow too. Ooh, okay, I think I like that. All right, so let me try another one. This one I'm going to do in different colors than red and yellow. I think I'll start with blue this time. Okay. I'll put blue. You can see how that paint, once it hits the coffee filter, it just kind of spreads. All right, let's try some other blues. We've got 3 different blues on our palette here. I'm going to put some other ones in here. I like that aqua blue. That blue is really pretty. Okay. Sophia, what color do you think I should try mixing with this one?
Purple.
All right, let's try some purple. I'll put some purple over here. All right. Ooh,
Yeah, I like
I'm
that.
gonna like that a lot. Oops, I just got more blue accidentally. I meant to get purple. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right. Oh, I like that. All right. I think I'm going to try a little bit over here of blue and maybe some yellow and see what happens. What happens when we mix blue and yellow? Oh my goodness. Sophia, what color are we seeing?
I see some green.
Oh my goodness. Another fun combination. A little chunk of yellow there. Ooh, I like that green. Okay. Ooh, I like that one. A little rumpled up. Let's see if we can pull it over. It doesn't really matter, actually. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that's a beauty too. Look at these next to each other. Oh, wow. Okay, so I think everyone kind of gets the idea. I want you to have some fun with color mixing. And once the flowers have dried, you can just leave them on the wax paper and they should dry. If you wanted to speed up the drying process, you can try moving them to like a cookie drying rack. You can try moving them to there, but it's a little bit tricky. We found that yesterday when I made those, moving them to the rack was quite tricky. I think if you can just be patient and let them dry right on the piece of wax paper, you'll probably be just as happy with them. And once you get them completed, if you want to, again, put them in your window and send a picture to Northside, we'd love to see that. So, all right, if you want to come around, Sophia, you can maybe show again the 2 that we just did today. And again, would love to see the flowers that you all create and would love to see them in your windows. All right, everybody, enjoy the lesson. Bye.